YouTube! We're back with another episode of What the Hell Am I Doing? And this week, well, I was wrong on one of my two picks last week, so finally my win streak of picking fights correctly for spicy sports betting is wrong, and we have to do a punishment episode of spicy sports betting. So that's what this week is going to be. There's going to be a punishment, but of course, I can't just stop there. I got to take on some more, because I'm crazy. So we're going to do two more picks today as well. And as I run out of this chocolate bar, because after today I only have one piece left, after I run out of this, I'm going to have to think of other punishments because I can't always do death shots. But I do have Champ's Power Flakes. I do have Champ's Hot Sauce. I do have frozen pods. So I'm going to start betting crazier and stranger things on the fights as we go into the future. And, as fights get bigger and more important, maybe I'll bet more pods or something, and we'll see. And we'll go from there. But yeah, things are going to change as I run out of this chocolate bar unless I find another one some point in the future, which I may do. I may get another one. Maybe I'll get the Nemesis, and we'll use that as a betting chocolate bar. But anyways, we're not going to ramble too much about that. Last week, what can I say? Wonderboy, I really thought he was going to be able to evade Gilbert Burns, but he couldn't, and Burns was able to dominate him with wrestling and control, and pretty much that's how he won the fight. He just, every time he got his hands on him, he was able to take him down and control him, and that's never really happened to Wonderboy that much before. We knew he was susceptible to wrestling, but that fight kind of exposed that he really hasn't adjusted to it over the years. Sorry, it's a little hot in here, and I'm getting ready to burn some more, so this is going to be interesting. So yeah, unfortunately, I picked the wrong guy in that fight, and I bet a square of the Chili Cherry Nightmare, which I'm about to do. The other fight I want to touch on from last week was the Conor McGregor Dustin Poirier fight. And what have I been saying for a long time? If you've been following me on Facebook when I used to do UFC picks there, I've never believed in McGregor. I've always thought that he had hand-picked opponents. He hasn't really proved greatness. Yeah, he won 2 titles at the same time, but they allowed him to do bad. They allowed him to not defend titles. They allowed him to hold up 2 divisions, and they allowed him to basically screw up the UFC for about 4 years. Well, everybody waited for him to defend, and then eventually he defended nothing. Aside from his hand-picked opponents that he was way larger than at featherweight, he's done terrible at lightweight, and he's, beat washed-up guys at welterweight. Conor McGregor is not the real deal, and I've been saying that for a long time. And even on these videos that I've been doing for the last 2 years, when he has fought, which isn't many times, I think this was twice, maybe 3 times, was wrong. Yeah, I picked the Cowboy fight. I was wrong on that one, but that was a garbage fight, and I think I kind of called that beforehand. But I've been right in both Poirier fights. This fight was no different. Poirier was dominating him. McGregor came out stupidly overly aggressive with the leg kicks. And, he broke his leg on Poirier's knee. And I don't care what they've said afterwards. The story has changed like 15 times. The fact of the matter is that he came out too aggressive with the legs. He probably hasn't been working leg kicks that aggressively in the last year. So his legs probably weren't tough enough for that in the first place, because you have to really work the shins. So in a combination of those 2 things and him kicking the side of Poirier's knee, I think that's where the damage actually happened. But now you've heard like 15 different stories from them. And the current one is that he had fractures, going into the fight, and the UFC knew about it. But no one other than the McGregor camp is saying that. They have no x-rays to prove it. They have a couple pictures of him with wrapped foot, but come on, man. Show us the x-rays. If you have the MRIs and the x-rays, prove it. Otherwise, shut up. That story didn't exist the fight night. It didn't exist the next day. So every day it's changed, and this is the latest excuse. The point is that McGregor is not a real fighter. He is not a real champ. And they're just full of excuses at this point. Every fight he's lost, there's an excuse, and he's got to have his rematch, and he won't let it go until he does. And that just shows the kind of guy he is in a way, because he's not really looking for a title. He's not really looking for any of that crap. When he loses, his ego can't handle it, and he has to avenge it, or else his ego will just implode. And that's what you're seeing here. Poirier knocked him out last fight. Poirier broke his leg early this fight, and then McGregor was trying to be tough on his feet, and as soon as Poirier landed his first combination on him, McGregor was looking for a way out, and that's why he went for the guillotine choke, which was stupid. And I think everybody knew at that point that he was already desperate. The guillotine choke was a desperate attempt to get out of the fight, and when it went to the ground, he started taking abuse. It was pretty obvious at that point that he was done. It doesn't matter what he says. It doesn't matter what he says about the second round if his leg didn't break. You know how many guys could say, I would have done this if they didn't get knocked out in the first round? It's absolutely ridiculous. But all that crap aside, he had done nothing other than throw leg kicks to show that he had anything else to offer in that fight. As soon as he got landed on, he got desperate. He got taken down, and he got beat on. And the only reason he got let back up is because he was grabbing gloves for up kicks, and he was being cheap. And that should have been penalized, and he should have lost a point for that. But that's why he was allowed back up, and then his leg broke. The only thing that would have changed if the fight went longer is that Dustin would have continued to beat the shit out of Conor, and eventually Conor would have gassed, or he would have been knocked out, or he would have been submitted. Doesn't really matter. The bottom line is Conor did predict that somebody was leaving that night on a stretcher. The thing is he got the wrong man. He himself left on the stretcher. And then that whole thing afterwards with Conor on the ground with a broken leg, screaming about Dustin's wife and then threatening his kid later in the week. Like, this is why Conor needs to go away, and his fans still defend this behavior. And this is why I can't stand him, because his fan base is just awful. You can't defend that crap, man. Leave the wife and kid out of it. There's no reason to ever bring them into that. What we're witnessing here is the greatest crumbling of superstars since like Mike Tyson blew all his money. It happened to Ronda, but Conor, it's been happening slowly over the last 2 or 3 years. You know, you've seen him act out and do stupid things and get in trouble publicly. He hasn't won a fight that counted except for the Cowboy fight, which was a joke. Mayweather knocked him around, gave him, CTE. He got mauled by Khabib. Poirier's beat the shit out of him twice now. And this guy just cannot accept a loss. So what you're seeing here is a guy with a huge ego that will never be satisfied, a complete narcissist. You're just seeing that at work, and you're seeing a nuclear meltdown happen right in front of you. And I'm sure between now and the next video, there'll be more coked up posts on Twitter about how he should have won the fight, or he was about to do this, or how he was winning with his tactic of eating elbows on the ground. Or maybe there'll be more threats towards Dustin's kid. But whatever the case, Conor's a dirtbag. He got what he had coming to him, and that was totally karma. I don't think anybody feels sorry for him, and nobody should. He's a piece of crap, and he got what he deserved. And he loses that fight 100 times out of 100 times. But enough of that. Let's get on to tonight's fights. We got Jermell Charlo fighting Brian Castano tonight. It's a junior middleweight title fight. It's a big fight. Charlo has 3 belts, and he'd be fighting Castano for the WBO junior middleweight title. So the winner walks out of this fight tonight with 4 title belts and will be the unified champion. Big deal. Both fighters obviously bring it. Castano's a pretty offensive fighter. He's got some explosive offense, and he could be a real danger to Charlo. Charlo's usually the more offensive guy and a little more pop than the guys he's fighting. But this is probably going to be one of his toughest fights. And, Castano has that power to take him out. That being said, I think Charlo, both of the Charlos for that matter, are the future, or the current and the future of their divisions respectively. And I think at this weight, I think Charlo, I think he's going to end up taking Castano out, and maybe not by knockout or stoppage. There's a possibility, but I think he's going to be the better fighter, and I think over the course of the fight, he'll be able to outskill Castano, and he'll win, and he'll be the 4th title holder. So I will bet 1/4 dropper of the 33 Reaper Challenge death shots on Jermell. I said it right the first time. Jermell Charlo winning the fight tonight over Brian Castano. And we're going to do a bonus pick today before I do my punishment. The bonus pick is the remaining square of the Chili Cherry Nightmare right here. Miesha Tate is coming back to the UFC after, I think, 3 or 4, maybe even 5 years away from the game. I don't even remember anymore. It seems like forever ago. But whatever the case, she's been away for a while. She's become a mom, and now she's back. And she's fighting Marion Reneau, who, has been around. Her record's almost 500, and she's 44 years old in a weak division. So even though Miesha's been away and been rusty, and I think those are risks that are going into this fight if you're going to pick her. Those are factors. She may not be the same after being a mom, but she does look like she's in fantastic shape and maybe the best she's ever been in. So that could be a factor too. I do expect some ring rust and maybe feeling out period to start the fight. But I think ultimately it doesn't matter how long she's been away. Reneau's too old. Reneau's record is too close to 500. Miesha Tate should still be a better fighter. So I will bet the remaining square of this chocolate bar on Miesha Tate winning that fight. So for the new picks, I got Miesha Tate for 1 square, and I've got Jermell Charlo for a quarter dropper of the 33 Reaper Challenge Death Shots. Let's stop talking now, because it's time to get down to that punishment. You guys have been complaining that I'm always right. Well, I do pick fights to lose, and fights are like rolling the dice. Sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. Sometimes you go out there and really pick one that might go sideways, and like that was the Anderson Silva fight. When I picked that one, it should have went sideways. It didn't. I don't know what to say. But here we go. Wonderboy let me down, and I have to pay my prod dues to Mr. Gilbert Burns. Mr. Gilbert Burns, I apologize for doubting you. That was a fantastic wrestling performance, and it'd be interesting to see where you go next before you get your next title shot. But for now, thanks, Wonderboy. You screwed me. Let's do this. Well, it's a lot in the mouth, so I won't be talking for a second. That's why I was starting to feel the heat on my tongue as I'm chewing through this. Good talk about, man. Hit the throat. There you go. Oh. All right, she's down. So that's making me sweat a bit more. Oh. So I've been cheating this week. I did have some hot spaghetti this week. I had 3 Leviathans, 3 ghost peppers that were big, a chocolate Maruga scorpion, and a Reaper on my spaghetti. So, and I'm not kidding, I make my spaghetti like this for real. So my tolerance is pretty high right now. That being said, this is like a 1.5 right now. It's on my tongue, it's on the roof of my mouth, and it's in my throat. My lips are not burning. Maybe the underside of my tongue a little bit, but the top and the front, and the top and the back, and my throat especially are roaring right now. The chocolate's delicious. The cherry part is great. Oh, and it's making my face hot and sweaty. Yep. That's actually getting to be enjoyable. My tolerance has been through the roof all year, even when I've taken weeks off. It seems because I eat frequently hot food all the time now, I'm starting to get used to a standard level of heat. Even when I let my tolerance drop. But that being said, this is getting up there. It's like a 1.5 still. It's more in the back of my mouth and in my throat now. It's making me sweat big time. Down my ear. That's what happens, man. You pick the wrong fight, you pay the price. Imagine me being wrong 3 times and having to do that and the other stuff. It'd be terrible. I'm almost drooling now. Part of it's because it tastes good and I want more. Part of it's because of the heat. But yeah, the flavor, even of the Reaper in the chocolate bar, is good. I like it. I like the taste of Reapers. But yeah, I think that's it. I'm not really suffering here anymore, and the heat's starting to die down now. It's like a 0.5. So there you have it. I got punished today. Hope you guys enjoyed seeing that. And, if I'm wrong on these 2 fights tonight, it'll be way worse next week. So make sure you tune into the fights tonight. Make sure you tune in next week. And hey, check out the Instant Pot review I did if you haven't. It's a long one, but it's a good one. Subscribe. Check out last week's video where I picked one of the fights wrong. Check out this video here, and we'll see you soon with maybe another punishment video, depending on how today goes. Look at that sweat. It's hot. Thanks for watching.